Um, that's the thing about modern technology. We're not recording straight to tape, so it's really easy to cut whatever we want out.
That man will give you $5 to sing into a can.
I'm not Big Jeff over here. I won't be singing. So
we's mass communicating, dummies.
Are we going to talk about that at all? Is that on the list? I didn't even read it.
What, oh brother, where art thou? Yeah, we can talk about that all day.
Whew, it's a lot of pressure.
It was high pitched.
Was it?
A little bit. It was high pitch and cracky, so kind of like my singing voice.
Doo 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 doo. Ah.
I think this whole episode, we're not allowed to actually talk. We just have to sing the whole thing.
Oh God, I hate those fucking comedies.
Musical episode? That would be
the worst.
Hilarious.
Oh,
musical episodes
of TV shows are horrible.
How often? I feel like I haven't seen one of those, and
it's always on like the comedies you like, and then it's just like, what is this? Like, no, I don't want to watch this episode.
I hope Severance has a musical episode. That'd be great.
I could talk about Severance all day. It's a good show. It's a good one. This would be the TV. I could do a TV talking about episodes. That should actually be an episode we do someday.
No.
Yeah, someday we'll get Keith to learn how to take screenshots of his computer. Ryan sent one yesterday.
And it's just as bad. Everyone was making a bad face. So like,
that
made me feel justified.
It has nothing to do with what people's.
Why would I take a screen? I know how to take screenshots of my fucking computer. Why would I do that and then text that, or I'd have to email it to my fucking phone to then post it to a Discord and then crop it? Like, that's stupid.
You should save it for the show.
Some app that would
save it for the show.
Probably only work with Apple computers.
Hold on, we'll talk about that. Screenshots on computers. This is going to be an episode where Keith and I just fight each other. Hey, it's your boy Big Nate. Welcome back to the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. It is episode number 220, 543 of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. If you weren't familiar, that is today's podcast number, episode number. Brothers, we're not professionals. We are a podcast by crew, for the crew, relentlessly, without question, always mocked by the crew. We are here today to discuss so many great things, and I wouldn't want to do it without anybody else but my good co-hosts that are on every episode with me. Big Joey, why don't you tell the crowd at home, hello.
Hello.
And to my left, bottom, right, and behind me, I have my other co-host who's on every week with me as I host this podcast, Big Keith.
Howdy.
Hey. All right. So the questions that we ask all the time, what are we drinking, boys?
I've got the last flavored Rambler from my goodie bag, and this is a blackberry. It's pretty good. I've crushed it, waiting to I was getting a little thirsty, so I already crushed it. It was very good, and then I'm going to follow it up and wash it down with the water, or the original Rambler, just the plain water. So I'll let you guys know how that is in a little later. But so far, the Rambler's very good so far.
Is that just a carbonated water?
Probably, but if it's anything like the Liquid Death, like we've talked about that multiple times, like the original just plain water is the best Liquid Death. So I'm curious if the Rambler has the same effect on me or not, or if it's just tappy.
It's just tappy.
I don't know what to do with that either.
Yeah, there's something there. I just haven't figured out what it is yet. Is it if it's just tappy? Joey, what are you drinking?
I got a special one. A friend of mine posted about it. This is a Canadian brewery called Mascot Brewery. No, I've never heard of them. I've never been there. But this is their yeah, buddy, lightweight.
That's wild.
Oh, I thought that was Huck Finn for a second on there.
No, that's the Ronnie Coleman lightweight lager.
Yeah, that is Ronnie Coleman now.
Ish. It's like if my kid drew Ronnie Coleman. But yeah, I thought I would take your cease and desist and stuff it and drink a lightweight lager on this podcast.
That's awesome, though. It's a cool.
Yeah,
I like those. There's a YouTube daily show I watch, and like a brewery made a beer for them, and it has like a similar artwork style that one has, and I love that like crude animation, like good but bad drawing style.
Yeah, so I'll give this a sip. It's terrible.
I mean, got a picture of Ronnie Coleman on it. I can't imagine it'd be that good.
Yeah,
What?
it
What
definitely
does
I
is.
that
don't
even
know.
mean?
Like,
It's
it's a poorly drawn animated picture. Like, I don't know. I
it
don't know
is what it
the
is.
reference.
It's a very lightweight lager.
It tastes like nothing but peanuts.
Uh, it definitely tastes lightweight, baby.
Taste. Yeah, ain't nothing. It is. Well, it would be nothing like a peanut.
I know.
Or is it nothing but a peanut?
Ain't nothing but a peanut.
Ain't nothing but
So
a
it would
peanut, but
just
it was.
like a peanut butter ale. They could do a whole series. They could do like a peanut butter porter sort of thing. Ain't nothing but a peanut porter.
I probably won't try
Ain't nothing but a
it.
peanut.
We've got the whole line ready to go.
I'm gonna go get a Pepsi pretty soon.
Oh Jesus, that
Wipe
bad.
this taste out of my mouth. Yep.
I've got a. Hold on. I've got one of these like green Massonomics lifting department koozies on this, and those suckers are tighter than any koozie they've ever released. I swear.
Really? I don't have that one here.
Oh.
I think I have one in the basement.
But I'm drinking out of a Costco like 600 pack Waterloo blackberry lemonade, and I think it is pretty stinking tasty. If I'm being honest, I do enjoy it. What are we wearing tonight, Joey? I see you're preparing for such a segment.
So he did just take off his sweatshirt.
No, I just got hot.
This is playing into the sisters podcast. So Joey just took off his hoodie, and thankfully he had a t-shirt underneath of it. Because by the time this one comes out, it'll be the episode that they recorded. So the live episode I listened to, Tanner, basically one of the bits was he admitted that he was wearing a crew neck hoodie sweatshirt without a t-shirt underneath of it. And like that's just the weirdest thing to me, and I think most people would feel that way. Joey's looking at me like it's normal, but I don't know too many people that wear just regular sweatshirts without a white beater or a
That seems
t-shirt
normal.
underneath of it. Maybe in Canada,
Like a crew neck sweater?
Yeah, like he was wearing I think he was wearing the blue crew neck, and he was just saying like it's the first time he's ever worn it without a t-shirt underneath of it. And Tommy's like, yeah, I would never wear one of those without a t-shirt underneath of it. And I was like, I agree with Tommy on that.
I go back and forth. It depends. I feel like sometimes it depends on how cold it is. If it's like real chilly out and I'm going to be outside, the wind, I like a shirt under just to like help break up the wind as it cuts through the sweater. But I don't know. The feeling of putting on like a nice cozy hoodie with no shirt on, it's awesome.
A hoodie, I don't think I could do, but the crew neck I could, because the crew neck feels more like a shirt and the hoodie feels more like a coat.
Yeah,
it all depends. Also, I'll put a shirt on under the sweater if I want to wear it for like a lot of days and feel better about it.
Yeah.
Because you're really just using a shirt and not the hoodie if there's a shirt on under it. Did they discuss that? Because that's really the important thing.
They didn't deep dive it too hard.
I think it just comes down to if you see the crew neck as a coat or as a shirt.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, if you wear a shirt under it, it becomes a coat. But if you don't, it's just a shirt.
Yep.
And then you have to wash it.
God, we know we don't wash coats around here.
No, we don't wash coats. We don't wash no stinking coats.
No, I was wearing my Future Corpse Club sweater. It's my nice, comfy, cozy, locally owned and operated. Future Corpse Club, you're already a member. Get used to it. And then I'm wearing my Lift Hard, Be Kind under this one because I found it and it fits.
That's exactly it. Keith, what are you wearing?
I got my meat shirt on from the Stonemoors 2025 a couple of weeks ago.
Shaboo!
Yep, that was a thing. That happens.
I loved your story explaining that. You were like, why am I in pain? And I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense, you be in pain.
It hurts so bad. My ankle hurts so bad every step.
I know. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but it opened up a meme for me that has more views than any of my lifting videos.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. That meme today that one of the Davids made of the picture of me and Chris. That was so funny.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard at that one. And it brought up the whole history teacher, football coach bit again, and that's getting to some new legs.
It's a good callback.
Love a good callback. Speaking of callbacks, I'm also wearing a hoodie with a shirt under it.
Attaboy.
And none of the apparel that I have is of any named notability. This hoodie is this crew neck sweater thing, blank, nothing on it, boring.
Which blank?
Huh? It's a PacSun something. I don't know, thrifted.
It's not what I was looking for.
I don't know what they print these on, but it's comfy as heck. I love this thing. You might as well be. And then I have what possibly is the worst blank ever. This shirt I have on under here is like I don't even know. I got it from like maybe like a Ross or just like some like really cheap overstock sort of store. And so it's like the worst quality possible, misprint something, like the logo is like up here in the corner. But it's Polaroid, and I was like, that's cool and hip. But like the sleeves are short and they like stick out like little T's, make my shoulders look jacked though. So nothing magical.
I did buy a True Classic T-shirt it was like a month or so ago, maybe.
I've got a couple.
They're not bad. I like the fit of them. I'm still debating because like for me to replace all my undershirts, it'd be like over $100 to like get like 10 new undershirts or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't know. I still have so many like just matching shirts already that are my undershirts. But the True Classic was nice because it had the extra length because I always have my damn shirts come untucked and I don't like that.
You know who does those really well? Under Armour. They're the Rock by whatever his stuff is, the Project Rock stuff. They're always extra long.
I've got a True Classic right here.
Nice.
Just sitting right next.
I'm recording with a couple True Classics.
Hey,
that's the nicest compliment he's ever given us. Hey, yo, hey.
Well, I'm just setting you up so I can tear you down later, you fucks.
Oh, yeah, it's just
that's what this whole episode is. Yep.
All right.
Should we move on?
Yeah, I think we have to rate last week's episode.
Which was, somebody remind me.
Is it a little bit of tariffy, but I don't know. It wasn't tariffs. That was
tariffs.
More, well, no, that's actually that would be the upcoming episode. It is
Time's a flat circle to Keith. All episodes are the current episode.
Buying imported, buying American, or buying if you buy used, are you actually supporting American made or not? If you buy it used, my favorite part of it was basically supporting your sporting members because it was nice to get a little shout out. But then it was actually a really long supporting your sporting members. But then it was a solid 2-3 minute segment, and then they spent another 3 minutes making fun of my shoe choice, which was just like, damn it. But
Shaboo!
So obviously, that was my favorite part. So I will give it. It's gonna
kill me every time.
I'll give it a 5 out of 5 mismatched shoes.
5 out of 5 mismatched.
What shoe, what boot? Hey, shoe boot. Shoe boot.
Yeah, episode is great. Loved the title topic of discussing the morality of where you purchase your gym equipment. I just want to show up and lift. They said they were going to bring politics into it. Now we're bringing, geographic, economic things. I don't know if I can even listen to Massonomics anymore. They're not standing on the values they used to. It's getting really tough. But I did mention this in the Discord, but then it got absolutely buried by Car Talk immediately after I posted it. And I just want to bring attention to the greatest loophole of all that wasn't discussed on their episode. But if you feel bad about not buying, as they said, local, versus, American made, well, what if you're not from America? So buying local versus buying like an imported, not as well made product. The loophole is, as long as you use a Massonomics affiliate link to purchase it, you're still supporting local, and then it nullifies any sins. You're clean, white as snow. It's that easy.
Or even the unpaid and underrated.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, you've got a fair amount of gym equipment adjacent, links you can use.
Yeah, but I mean, all of our equipment and stuff would never be for, we're always supporting local, so we wouldn't. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to do a bit, but. All of our companies are awesome.
When they fall short? Yeah, that's the worst. Fucking hate it.
Yeah. But hey, Keith, the best part is I just edit out all the jokes that I say that don't land and leave your guys' in.
Oh, you bet made me spit my drink out on that, and I will follow up real quick. Rambler, I just consumed a fair amount of the original Rambler too. Pretty good. I don't know if it's Liquid Death good, but I would say it's on par with the flavored one, and It almost even has like a hint of some kind of flavor. It's not just like, completely bland. So that will wrap up my Rambler segment. And now I got to actually go buy my own sparkling waters.
Oh, what a shame.
I know, right? Unless I get some other crew care packages to help out.
So wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Everyone has
Send
my
some.
address.
Yeah, listen, you need Keith's address. You can literally just look anywhere on the internet. It's somewhere. Yes, there's nowhere you can go and not see it at this point.
What's your rating, Nate?
I was getting to that. My rating is going to be, even though just the political stances they were taking, the socioeconomic and whatever else that they were getting into, that I don't know if I'm comfortable with, but I'll let it slide for this time around. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Titan T2 series power racks.
Ooh,
so that's my rating for the week.
It's with everything going on, that episode kind of hits a little different up here in Canada, because of a lot of the stuff happening over the border, at the border, and to the border. I would say that normally I would have felt more comfortable buying American versus buying anything from overseas. Like, obviously, I go Canadian first. That's why Bells of Steel and me are such tight friends. But they still make in China and then resell, right? So
yeah, they're an import company for the most part.
Like companies like the Strength Co. or Massonomics or companies like that. Like, I always kind of felt more comfortable buying from people I know. However, things have gone a little differently lately. So I would say I haven't bought anything used yet. That's my problem.
Never? You haven't? There's not a single thing you own that's
hard
used?
to believe. Really?
Nope.
Dang.
Because
you do
I
hate human interaction outside of work.
Oh yeah,
so that makes that track.
I didn't even have Facebook up until
it's hard
last year.
I hate dealing with Marketplace.
Yeah, it definitely is one of those, like, if I could just go buy it new and not have to talk to somebody, I would do it. And I did. Like, my entire gym is new, but also, like, if I'm buying stuff now, I'm buying such niche shit that you're not picking it up locally, right? There's nobody randomly selling axle bars. There's nobody randomly selling Atlas stones here in this area, right? If they have them, they're keeping them because they're hard to get a hold of. Beyond that, it was a good episode. Was that the episode with the we used to be a proper country about the dog dick? Because that was the funniest.
I forgot that part. Yeah, that was. I laughed so hard at that.
I had that on my YouTube because everybody was eating, so I was watching it in the living room, and I was pitching a fit laughing.
Yeah, I think I woke Stephanie up. I was laughing so hard when I was listening to that.
That was definitely a good hysterical bit, and it fits perfectly that we used to be a proper country. Right. Yes, it has nothing to do with politics or anything to do with the country, but just like there was a time where dogs had dicks.
When they did impersonations, I like they don't do like the fact they both did impersonations of like the old white guy talking about how he wants a pecker on his dog. Like it was literally gold. It was fucking gold. Yeah. It was the highlight of the episode for me.
Back in my day, Coca-Cola had cocaine. We used to be a proper country, right? Like, it's just like, what do you? Okay, Grandpa. So I'm going to go ahead and give that episode 5 out of 5 $1 stringers from Bells of Steel.
There you go.
I thought you were
Tron has all 5 of them.
Yeah. There was something there and I lost it. I gotta, man.
All right, good.
So much for me to edit out. So much for me to just cover up on, like, Keith's things that I always keep in.
The drink spotter contest so far.
There's been some bangers.
There's been some bangers. I would say I'm finding it hard to keep track.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for
Tanner has a spreadsheet, so he'll
Tanner to just give me.
No,
he
did. He told me he was tracking it as much as he can.
Okay, good, because like the drink spotter hashtag is.
No, it should have been Yeah, it should have been. I kind of busted his balls. It was like it should have been Drink Spotter 25 or Drink Spotter 2025
or Drink Spotter contest.
I think has there been a Drink Spotter? Well, it was Drink Spotter Trick Shot, but I think a lot of people still tagged it as Drink Spotter contest.
But that still would have narrowed it down a little better.
Because just Drink Spotter, like when I did Drink Spotter, there was like 10 posts I did in the last 4 years, and I was like, oh, well, that doesn't help figure out who posted today. And then people weren't. Yep.
I can't really go into like who I think is doing amazing yet. I still think Megan's with with the cane was
That was the best.
and it was the first.
Oh, and then the the follow up picture that he sent us today of her order notes. Oh, I laughed so hard at
Yeah,
that.
that's very
That was
good.
the best.
That took me I was at dinner with my family and I was driving and I just see like on CarPlay it's like Tanner Baird, and I was like, what? Is something important happening? And we sat down. I was like, oh, I got to see what that was. And I like read it really quick, and I was like, I don't get it. And I was kind of like sitting and talking to my wife, and it like hit me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Like,
It took me like 30 seconds, and then I had to like exclamation point like Megan.
Yeah, so Megan definitely made an order online for local pickup and put in, from what I can see, this is a good drop. And that's just funny. Speaking of the drop, I did not get anything because I was asleep. Full disclosure, I I went to bed at like 5 o'clock and didn't wake up till 6:30 my time, so I definitely missed out on everything.
I missed the first hour, but I actually did. I think I bought my first shirt today in like almost a year. Well, outside of I did buy, so I had a surplus of UNU shirts just so if I ruined one, I had an extra one. But
what is
so an extra one.
what is
fucker,
a surplus? I had a surplus. I just imagine Keith having all the stock in one size.
I did buy one in a size smaller in case I actually lose some weight in the future, and then I bought a second in the current size that I'm in.
Okay, surplus. That
is
a big...
3 of one shirt is pretty.
Yeah, that's a surplus of shirts.
Yeah.
If you say so.
So I bought the cream.
How many shirts do you own of the same style?
I have 2 of those because Tanner
shirt.
sent me a large, and I was like, I need an extra large in this, so I have 2.
So you have a surplus.
Yeah, I've got a surplus.
You're like only 30% behind me, and you're giving me a hard time.
33.3%.
Yeah,
I know, you fuckers.
He's not
big math over here. Yeah, more about that later.
Yeah, we can't find big math, and he's got a new profile.
Also, speaking of, before we move on from the drink spotter contest, I want to apologize in advance. There's going to be more tragedy coming. Just brace yourselves. We have a whole series of dark comedy coming from my Instagram account.
I forgot about yours. Yeah, that was. I like that you brainstormed that with us, and we made it definitely go in the right direction. The Edmund Fitzgerald was a good direction on that one.
Yeah, well, I don't know, Joe, if you've been keeping up, but we're going right back down a dark path. So
I'm okay with that.
We've got a nice. Well, I can say it on here because this will be released after all of them get posted.
We are recording in the future, Nate.
Yeah, we are in the future. Man, this sucker is gonna have some. I don't know what tragedies to hit next. I might do this for the next 6 months. I mean, there's enough tragedies that we can tag at the end of this. It's really an easy format. So
no shortage of tragedies to mock.
100%. Yeah. So I just want to apologize to everyone in advance. It's called comedy. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. It's just comedy.
But if we do hurt your feelings, we don't care.
Yeah. Well, that's Joe's opinion.
Just for the disclaimer, all of Nate's really offensive stuff is going to be on Nate's personal page and does not reflect Unpaid and Underrated stance on 9/11 and other mass catastrophes.
Yeah, so yeah, things are going great.
That's not ominous at all.
Yeah.
Okay, what topic should we do next, if we have any?
Just wanted to thank the handful of people that have already submitted their road to the bus videos. I like doing those little series. I think I got a couple people that still owe me one, so maybe I'll see it this week. If not, it is what it is. But appreciate anyone that has supported so far. Hopefully, some crew get to know you a little bit better.
I don't know if I've publicly announced it. I won't be at the Arnold this year. I know I put it in the Discord. I haven't said it on Instagram yet. I meant to say it last week when I was dying of the flu. But yeah, I don't want to get into it too much. Let's just say with everything going on, crossing the border didn't seem like a fun thing to do at the time. Yep. So
we'll miss you, buddy.
That's about where that. Oh, I'm so bummed. I was so excited. It's my favorite party of the year. But there's just too much going on. I've been seeing too many things of Canadians getting flagged at the border for no reason. Coming back is harder. And I was just like, you know what? I think I'm going to stay home on this one.
Probably a good idea.
This time around. Next year, though, you guys are fucked.
Yeah, one of the kid I work with lately has been a thing he's been saying a lot is go with your gut, like because I always like double talk myself sometimes and like
You?
well, I get very much anxiety stuff, but he's just like go with your like the first thing you think is like 99% the right answer, just go with that every time, and it's actually been kind of so if that was your stick with your first instinct of
It was not actually like
Well-
there was a whole pros and cons chart put on
Alright.
there of like if I go, if I don't go, and it just there's too much up in the air right
Yeah.
now. We won't name any names, but yeah, that's there's too much contention going on. What
Yeah,
with everything going on,
Yeah, speaking of that, are you guys excited for the hockey game tonight?
it's on right now.
No.
Are they at the American Canadian beating the shit out of each other again?
Yeah. Nope, couldn't care less.
Dude, the YouTube Daily Show that I watch, that they're all based out of America, and they live stream sport, like watching sporting events or whatever, and they were gonna watch the hockey game tonight, and they're like, we don't have any Canadians that work for us, so it's like we don't want the stream to just be all one-sided. So they just like put a call out to find a Canadian to fly down to their office and watch the stream with them. And he was on this Daily Show today. This dude, I was like, this is like when Scance gets on the podcast and gets like really drunk and real like lets all of his Canadian real like really out. I was like, it was just so funny because it's like I'm like very used to like just Canadian isms, I feel like, from listening to Joey every week. And it was just, I was like, this is just a more insane Joey right now. And it was so funny to me.
I rein it in, to be honest with you. Like,
Well, that's
because
what
I
I was
know
like,
that a large portion of our listenership is American. So I rein in the Canadianisms and even the accent. Like, I rein in a lot of it. And it's one of those funny things where people were like sending it to me or like posting it. And I was like, they're like, oh, look, we beat you and we did this and that. And I was like, you don't care about hockey. I don't give a fuck about hockey. Why are you posting this and sending this? And it's like, again, people they need to be political and they need to find meaning in useless things. No, hockey is irrelevant to me. I get it. I understand it. I can watch it. I can appreciate it. But it is not a part of my lifestyle.
But can you explain icing to us? Can you explain offsides? Just give us the rundown of all the things no one understands about hockey.
Well, first of all, nobody understands those.
Yeah, like how can a fucking defenseman score, but then like you're not? It's all about how many guys you have past the line, but then that means you have offensive players on the other side of the fucking court or the rink. I don't get it.
Who cares?
I've never. I have to go Wikipedia that rabbit hole and figure out how hockey works.
Doesn't make any sense.
Keith is going to be our hockey expert next week.
Yeah. The boys discuss hockey.
I think I'm off. I'm going to be off for a minute until we do a Arnold recap.
This is a hockey podcast now.
Yep,
that's all right. We should follow up with Big Kim and see if he's watched Mystery Alaska yet.
That was a fucking non sequitur. Anyway, what's the
episode is extremely relevant because it's about fucking hockey.
Oh, is it? I don't even know what that is.
It is 1,000,000%. It is a hockey movie. It was a hockey movie we talked about.
Is it glazed?
4 weeks ago. Yeah, it's one of the best movies of all time.
The best movies of all time? What's it called?
Mystery Alaska. You guys don't listen to me at all. We've literally talked about this multiple times.
Listen, Keith, if I could keep everything that you said in my brain.
We also don't trust your movie ratings.
Yeah, that's the other side of it.
It's still one of the greatest movies of all time.
It's one of the greatest movies. You only gave it an 8.
Yeah, 8's pretty good.
It's top 20%.
Okay, hold on.
According to the Glaze scale.
So, if that's one of the greatest movies of all time,
it's not one of the greatest movies of all time. It's one of my favorites.
What did he glaze? There Will Be Blood.
No, that was like a 6, maybe a
7.
Yeah,
see, you're fucking wrong. You're so wrong.
Keith's really good at recalling his ratings because it was a 6.
I'm very good at knowing.
Mystery Alaska beats Daniel Day-Lewis's greatest movie. Yeah, sure.
Sometimes you need to just laugh and have a good time, Joey.
Is
You
it a
should try
funny movie?
sometime. Yeah,
What,
it's
There Will Be
hysterical.
Blood?
Yes, yeah. There Will Be Blood's funny. No, Mystery Alaska. It's sport and comedy. And
Ah,
literally can't. It's like the perfect combination for me.
interesting.
What
All
about the
right.
Goon? How did he rate the Goon?
The what?
The Goon.
Goon?
I want to say I give it a 6, but I might give it a 7. I think I liked it, but I bet I did give it a 7.
6.
Maybe okay, that's fair.
Anyway, next.
Anyway. All right.
We're already 29 minutes and 11
Yeah,
seconds
we've
into
talked
this.
about hockey a
Next.
lot.
We're a hockey podcast now. Screw all
Yeah.
this lifting stuff. We're into hockey. We're hockey guys.
Hockey players probably lift. I want to see their training split. We'll talk about that next week.
Hockey players probably do lift. I was listening to something recently, and someone was talking about they were like a collegiate athlete, and they're like, yeah, the hockey players, they were always just out there squatting. And I was like, sounds like a good time. Sounds like a great time.
That sounds like a reasonable time.
I wrote that we needed to talk about screenshots on computers versus taking pictures of your screen. And we don't have to. Keith and I were going at it in the pre-show, and I've come down. I'm not as fired up anymore, so we can. I'll just mark it as done. But I wanted to just yell at Keith and mock him, but I feel.
You want to put more on my play? No, we got to get into it now. I guess you want to put.
No,
more?
you just need a new laptop. It needs to be a MacBook so you can share it.
No.
No.
No. We're not getting Keith a MacBook. We don't. Keith. No offense to Keith, but we don't want to have to teach him. No.
I barely know my MacBook.
Can't have change.
Like it's we're not getting him a
I did
Mac.
actually update every program, and like I thought I was fairly up to date on. Like I'd always do my system updates, but I did the big one where it was like Windows 11 network framework or some bullshit. I don't know what it was, but it like changed like the borderline, the whole operating system around. So everything looks all different and shit now. And
Were you not on Windows 11 before?
Apparently not. I don't know. Or if I was, it was like a trial or some shit. I don't know.
A trial.
Maybe
Ooh.
I don't know, or a beta. I don't know, dude. But
No, shout out to this app I found though, because the simple solution, it's cross-platform, Linux, the whole 9 yards. You can get it on anything. It's a little app called Local Send. It's open source, so it's good, I guess. But kind of one of those made by developers, cool dudes. I found a problem. I want to fix it. I don't want to make money on it situations. But just peer-to-peer, as long as you're on the same network, you both have the app, you can just share files, text, anything between two people, between two devices. So if iPhone to PC, Mac to PC, it's super great. I love it.
You can almost never download apps on PC though, because PC is like, you have to like bootleg download that or something. Because anytime I try to download something on my PC, if it's not in the Windows Store, it tells me to fuck off.
Well, we don't have time.
Just,
we don't have time to unpack this. You just have to. Yeah. Okay. I don't think I've ever once installed a single thing from the Windows Store. So there's that. No, yeah, that's just a security setting you can flip off. Yeah, you'd be fine.
I'm not big computer over here.
Yeah.
But my computer's running fine today. So yeah.
Hey, we're living in the future.
I like that segment or topic.
What? I think each week we'll have a Keith learns a new thing about his computers top segment where I'll come in with, here's how to use Windows. I'm not even a Windows professional.
We are not professionals.
Yeah, we're not
Brother.
professionals. No, this job I have now is the first time I've used a Windows computer as like my main PC since I was like 6, maybe. And I was hired as like a software developer, and I felt so lost and just like, but I can't ask how to use a computer because I'm a developer. But I was like, I don't know what to do with this Windows. Like, I just don't know. They're like, yeah, like you can do this thing, just like add whatever in. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with Windows. Like, I just was so stupid for like a month in. I was like, I don't even know what we do here.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
Was it the military clock on your Windows computer that told you to go home at noon, or was it, well,
My work uses Surface Pros.
That was funny. Fuck off.
Nope.
It really was. I'm going to bed soon. You guys suck.
My work uses
Don't worry,
Surface
we'll
Pro,
cut it. We'll cut it,
so
Keith.
I definitely have some familiarity with Windows, but I do prefer my Mac. All right, what's our next? Shirt's coming off.
Oh God, look at those nipples. Jesus. Got some nice lats too, Nate. Looking good, buddy. The Marissa Inda video where they did the pull-up instructional video. So her and Tommy and Tanner talked about doing pull-ups for about 15 minutes. It's pretty neat. The one thing I liked was what they said, if you could hold yourself for 30 seconds, you should be able to do pull-ups or something. Or if you could do 10 pull-ups, then you could do all this other stuff. So the fact that she had to kind of like baseline information of like if this then that was kind of cool. But I enjoyed it.
I did not watch it. I do not enjoy pull-ups. I have not done pull-ups in a very long time. But Marissa Inda is also 10 times shape that I'm in. So, so I will just trust whatever she says.
I love that she got the dig, and I think she said it before, but like she's like, Ellen DeGeneres is not a nice person. I'm like, yes.
What's her name?
Ellen DeGeneres.
Okay.
I misspoke.
I heard Ellen DeGeneres.
I heard Ellen DeGeneres, and I was like, I wonder if Keith knows what her real name is.
Well, of course he does.
Is it Floss?
Yes, it's Floss. Yeah, as long as I don't have to read it, I'll be fine. 'Cause apparently I can't do
Anthony
that.
Floss what was the guest?
Question about Anthony Floss. So in relation to the whole pull-up band pull-up video, my wife and I have been having an argument in our house amongst many. But one of them is in relation to pull-ups. One of her goals is to get. Yes, sir.
Oh,
hello.
Oh, is this thing live?
Oh, hey, look who's here.
Can you swear on this thing?
No, absolutely not.
All right, that's all. I just needed to answer that question answered. Have a good rest of the podcast.
Hey Tanner, can you answer this question? I need your opinion on this, and we need to take this to the streets as well. But my wife, we've been arguing. My wife we've been arguing about pull-ups, and she's been doing banded pull-ups in the garage in the early mornings. And she was like, all right, I'm going to move to the next level where I take one of my feet out of the band to make it harder. And I said, that doesn't make a difference. And it's been a large debate that we've had. And my argument is that it doesn't make it more difficult because there's no real difference in resistance. Shout out to a certain someone, you'll know if you're listening. Having 2 foot versus 1 foot does not change the amount of resistance on the band. I cannot get down with the 1 inch of foot or what, like however wide your foot is, like making that big of a difference. But do we think that really
right, buddy?
1 versus 2 feet is going to make a big difference in terms of the resistance of the band?
I agree with you. I don't think that changes anything. That just doesn't seem to me like it would change anything.
Okay, that's all I needed was Tanner saying that, and that's as much proof as I need. And
it's science. It's science. It's Massonomics.
Yeah, if we can just get this to be the next, what's the best exercise to prove that you're strong or whatever, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I need it to get to Mike Israetel, and then I can be like, look, this guy said you're wrong.
1 foot banded pull-ups. Like you do, I feel like you're doing too much.
Well, I was like, I don't know.
No, it's a stepping stone to do full of pull-ups.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if it's enough of a linear periodization. Like, sure.
Well, has she watched the Marissa Inda video yet?
Well, no, it wasn't out yet. It wasn't out. It was very funny. It dropped, and I was like, this is going to be great. This will probably settle everything.
I think it would make a difference a little bit, like to define difference. Like,
well, that's the thing.
More than 2%, or it's got to be like over 20%. Like
you're not lifting half your body weight because your 1 foot's on the band. Like,
she said it's not lifting my other leg at one point, and I was like, that's just that. Now we're just wrong because that's not how science works.
Yeah, you're not adding weight by having 1 foot hanging off because you still have 1 foot on the band, and it's just adding to you might as well have 2.
Yeah. that was my one buddy who I'm pretty sure he had a degree in like exercise science or whatever. He was a big time track athlete, Olympic athlete, competed at the Arnold, some Olympic lifting, and he was like, he said it made him tighter. Like he's like, it would help you keep your body more like rigid because it would be holding kind of everything together. And I was like, I get that, but I don't know.
Well, I think at the end of the day, you just need to know that don't try to give your wife lifting advice in the gym unless she's seriously going to hurt herself, because that's not going to end well. So just smarten up and let her do her thing, and only advise if there's critical damage about to be done to her body. Other than that, shut the fuck up.
This is the rightest Keith has ever been.
You
know what, honey? You go ahead.
Tell her you love her and that you're proud of her that she's in the gym, and that's really
that's more or less how most things. I was like, listen, she'll be like, what do you think? I was like, listen, you don't have to do anything that I say. You do whatever you want. Like it's just like, but this is what I would say. But listen, you do whatever
you can get want. You should be able to get like a scale out and like one of those like meat hanger scales or the fish scales and try to actually like prove it to her if you're that spiteful about it. But if not, just I would let that one go personally. Okay. And I don't let anything go, but
yeah, I'm with Keith on this one. You know what? If you think it's helping, honey, how can I help you?
Yes. Yeah.
Or have her DM Marissa and ask.
That's true. Can go to the source.
Or have her comment on the Massenomics YouTube video. You got to do it in the algorithm.
Yeah.
Well, that was a nice little feature there by Tanner Baird.
Yeah. Shout out to Tanner for joining.
It threw me off because his video never popped up, so I didn't know if he was here or not.
Oh, I saw him. I saw the name in there, and I sat, go off mute, on mute, and I was like, go. All right. Should we
must have been at a basketball game.
Should we go to the title topic pretty soon? It's 40 minutes in.
Oh, I guess I got like 10 more topics to get through before we get to our title topic.
I know, and I don't want to talk about any of them.
We'll save that for later. Well, Joey, you know what that means. It's time for our title topic. Take it away.
Yeah, it's a lot of new crew coming in, and I did see some questions about like, what is your meme profile? Like, what is it with so like, I wanted to make sure that you guys are kind of caught up on some of the jokes and not the Massenomics jokes, because the Massenomics jokes will be explained by Tanner and Tommy, but there is a lot of internal jokes that we do that have just been, of course, as we tend to, beaten into the effing ground. And what I thought we would do is explain some of those, give a little bit of the backstory, stuff that started on Unpaid and Underrated, stuff that started just in the Discord. And I think we got a little bit of a fun way to do it. I kind of asked Nate if he could pull this off. We got a bit of a wheel here, which I think there's the wheel sound. Nate is our host today, so Nate's going to pick a person and then pick a topic and task one of us to explain. Nate doesn't exist. This is the first example. Who's explaining this one?
But so we're a wheel show now. Spinning the wheel. Wheel is just for all you yak listeners. But we're gonna spin. I got two wheels, not just one wheel. We're a 2-wheel show. So we got a topic wheel, and then we have an explain this topic wheel. And that's gonna be my second wheel, nice. Which will define who has to explain the topic. So topic 1 at hand is Nate doesn't exist. And that is going to be
I kind of hope I get this.
Shoot. Keith must explain why Nate does not exist.
That's actually a good person to explain it.
I've, this has been an ongoing thing for a couple years now. I went to the Arnold in 2023. Nate went to the Arnold in 2023, but our paths did not cross. I left the morning he got there and a little later in the morning. And we've literally been, he's been our producer and friend and, third leg of this tripod that we got going on here for almost 2 years.
The middle leg specifically, the large middle leg of the 3.
Dick jokes.
Yep, it's a pecker joke. Back when those dogs had peckers on them.
We used to be a proper country.
And obviously, he's our technical guy, so he's the IT guy, and it's just he doesn't exist. He's Nate GPT.
I like the explanation was, well, he doesn't exist.
Yeah, he just doesn't he's a Muppet that has
Not
never
really.
I've yet
existed
to
in
meet
real
him.
life.
Him and I have been photoshopped in at least a couple pictures together.
And you guys
but-
live like 2
Yeah.
hours from each other.
I think it's like 4 or 5, but yeah,
And like you guys are so close. I've met both of you separately,
yeah.
but never together,
It
which
is
I think is really funny.
We've been on at least 10 episodes together, over the last couple of years, probably too. So I have talked to Nate. I have looked into Nate's face and talked to him on a computer for 20 hours, and have yet to shake his hand in person.
Well, we might change that since I also won't be at the Arnold. Shout out to Bree and George. I will be at home while Keith is driving back from Columbus, and I said, Keith, listen, if you want to grace my home with your body, be my guest.
I would love that.
And
I would love
so
that.
Keith might take some time out of his drive home to stop into good old Uniontown, Ohio, but not too long.
Oh, how do you feel about unions?
Yeah.
Big Andrew, good guy.
Yeah.
He likes rocks.
So funny. Yeah, we'd have to explain that one. Yeah, maybe Nathan will exist after next weekend. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, it would ruin the joke too, though.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to meet you anyway. I had all these great plans. There used to be a restaurant up in Cleveland called Melt. And they'd make these like preposterously large sandwiches that were like they sold them in 2 sizes, like half and then full sandwiches, but like no one can actually eat a full sandwich, but you'd always feel dumb to not buy the full one.
Oh, yeah,
But they had a chicken parm sandwich back in the day, and they've just like not since, but very recently, all of them have went out of business. There were like a ton of them, and then just all of a sudden they all just crashed.
Yeah, there was one up here for a bit too. Yeah.
Was there really?
Yeah, there was one here in my town.
Like Melt Bar and Grill?
It was called Melt Witch.
Oh, that's different.
It was
like it was a like local chain. Like it was a very much like local thing.
So for those of you who haven't met these two, I think most of you have met me in one form or another, and you might have met Keith, but maybe not Nate. Nate is a chaotic, high energy troll who is very funny. And I like when I say troll, I mean like you just you're about my height, and you're just like,
oh, I'm a troll because I'm small.
You're just everywhere, and it's so funny, and I love you for it. And Keith, if it's not a meet, Keith is 50% swear words and 50% ass crack. And it is, if you have met either of them, you know I'm right. And I love both of you for it. Anyway.
Is that our new, so we had, what was it? 50% facts. That's the podcast.
Yeah. 50% facts.
I don't know how
I listened to that today.
So yeah, am I real? Am I not? Who knows?
It's hard to say.
There's no way to know.
Yeah,
do you want to do person and then subject? I think that might be better.
Okay. Yeah, we can. I mean, it's all random, so nothing really matters in the long run.
Yeah, time's a flat circle.
Yeah, time's a flat circle.
No
Oh,
repeats.
Again.
Back to
no
Keith.
repeats. I'm not doing it. No repeats.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Come on, yeah.
I'm not doing it.
It's like a draw. Do it.
Listen, you don't want to deal with the wheel if
we won't make you do 3 in a row. Though. That's kind of fucking over the top.
That's just hilarious. The topic is the Davids. You explain the Davids.
There's
if
so
Keith
many of
explains this, it'll just be like the worst people that have ever existed in the world, proper country, where people weren't
Statler and Waldorf of Unpaid and Underrated over there,
where people weren't named David. We used to be proper country, and we didn't have any Davids. It's proper country.
The Davids. There's a lot of us. One of the Davids, and they like They used to start out saying that they didn't like to get jokes explained to them, and then they started explaining jokes for us, and then when they were prompted to get jokes explained, they stopped doing it. So I'm not really sure. They're kind of a conundrum to me right now. It's like, do you want to explain the jokes? Do you want to be mad about it? I don't know. We try to let them help us out, and then they won't explain the jokes, but then sometimes they do. I always enjoy it when they do, when they go into great detail explaining the joke, and I'm like, oh, that actually does make more sense now, and it's funny. But yeah, they like to bust our chops a lot. Good guys though, but. I'm still not sure which one's which.
I think that the Statler and Waldorf of Unpaid and Underrated is the best way to explain the two Davids. When I say every week, I'm going to be doing a lot of talking as well because I think that this is also a way to celebrate the crew. So I'll be doing a lot of talking about how much, I appreciate everybody's input into what we do here. When I say relentlessly mocked by crew, I
It's
mean the
just them.
Davids. I
Yeah.
literally mean the Davids. They find every chance they get to make fun of us, talk about what we missed, talk about what we explained wrong, make fun of me for saying stuff wrong. But maybe they don't realize it, but they're engaging. They're listening, they're contributing, they're adding to this podcast. So keep it up, but also shut the hell up.
Yeah.
The memory that those dudes have, I can't remember like 3 episodes ago, and I'll need to recall something and I'll send them a message and they'll be like, oh yeah, that was episode at minute. And I'm like, why are you the way you are? Stop that. It's not okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited for this summer. This summer, I can't wait to get a picture with both of them. So it'll be like the 3 Davids in a row.
Ooh.
I'm not doing that again.
No,
Just-
no more
just go in
no
order.
threes in a
Wheel-
row.
Let's just
The wheel wants you. It
Yeah,
wants you
the-
so
the
bad.
wheel
get rid
loves
of the
Keith.
person. Just get rid of the person wheel and just take turns.
All right, Joey,
Yep.
you are going to explain one of my recent favorites, Silly Hawk.
I wasn't even on that episode, was I?
No,
No,
that
I
was
wasn't.
That was the Thanksgiving episode.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was the Thanksgiving
She gave me.
episode.
She didn't like shit her pants when I said that. I think she was so shocked.
Yeah, so Massnomics has a Silly Goose shirt that says strong and silly and has a picture of a Canada goose being as aggressive and angry as geese are. Gooses, sorry. When they're Canada gooses, they're gooses. They're not geese. And
Oh.
yes, apparently that is how that is prescribed. And Keith, this starts actually a whole thing about whether or not Keith understands t-shirts at all. Was like, I thought that was a hawk, and everybody froze. And like time froze. Like every crew in the world was like a Jedi that was just like something's wrong. And they all heard it at the same time. And yeah, it's just that Keith did not know that was a goose, despite all the silly goose talk. On the new shirt, that's a goose, right?
Yeah, that one looks like a goose. I've never.
The other one looks so much like a goose, it's not even funny.
Yeah, it's never resonated. Silly gooseness has never resonated for me, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was just really funny that
It
it was
was.
just like, does Keith know anything about the Massonomics t-shirts? And that's actually led into Keith Poorly Explains Massonomics t-shirts. That is now one of our new ongoing segments.
It's definitely a good. It's funny. It's on the damn koozie I drink out of every week. But all I ever see,
It really is.
all I ever see are like the big aggressive wings. I'm glad you at least described it as like that particular image has the aggressive wings.
All you
Yeah.
ever see is a hawk.
Yeah, so we've started saying the silly hawk now. Everyone
Yeah.
in the Discord.
It definitely grew some legs. I've enjoyed it.
Which my brain like snaps to grid to Kitty Hawk. Which is like where the first flight took place, Wright brothers, whatever.
Yep.
Right?
I thought you said Sadie Hawkins.
Sadie Hawkins,
No,
Kitty
getting a
Hawk,
dance
Sadie
to do.
Hawkins.
Yeah, same
Sadie
thing.
Hawkins dance in my khaki pants, nothing better.
I actually don't know what you're.
What was Lemmy's first band? I think it was something Hawk as well.
Hawkins, Stranger Things.
Oh, Hawkins Cheesies. Yeah, Hawkins Cheesies are definitely something. up here.
Arkham,
Mhm.
to Arkham.
Do you mean Hawk and
Um,
Cobra Kai? There's not a Hawk in Stranger Things.
Hawkins. It's literally the school
Oh,
district.
Hawkins. I thought you said Hawk in Stranger Things. I got you. Word.
Gosh, all right, we're moving on. Can't
I'm
do
not-
this
Stop
anymore.
doing the spinning wheel. It's your turn to explain something.
No,
Or
Keith.
Joey can go again.
That one says
Keith.
Keith. Doesn't even say Keith.
I got rid of the
I don't know
H.
who that
in
is.
Keith.
I'm not doing that. I'm not going again.
No,
All right,
no. Okay, yeah. Let's get rid of that wheel. We'll just take
Just-
turns.
Yep.
Nate, this is your turn.
Oh,
okay.
No one can watch the wheel, so as we slowly watch it edge, move towards
Can
an
you
edge.
control it? Are you messing with it?
No,
No, it is random. Perfect.
it's super random. There's a big long thing at the bottom of the page about the random algorithm they use, yada yada.
Like, because people like win like money on shit like this, probably.
Yeah, this is basically
Drawings.
a roulette table. So the topic I got is Nate technically a guy, and shout out to Columbus. This came out of a vlog that Massonomics put out the first year that I was at the Arnold, in which they had a video of me talking to them, and it said Big Nate, and then like how the little lower thirds text usually says like profession or like something they might be known for in like dramas and things like that. Mine just said technical guy, to which I responded with, is that in reference to me being of technical nature in knowing programming and technical things, or does that mean they aren't sure into which way my gender works? And I'm only technically a guy. So that is where Nate technically a guy had come from. It was just the label on a Massonomics video years and years ago, but I live on as a truly technical guy, as the man that does technical things.
It also melds into you don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's referenced.
Right? Like, are you
monthly minimum?
Are you a guy or are you AI?
Yeah. Yes, that is a modern take on the age-old Nate, the technical guy. It's a modern interpretation.
I was at that Arnold.
Yeah, but if you go back to the Dead Sea Scrolls, the original interpretation of
Dead Sea Scrolls,
Nate, Nate, technical guy. I'm just making. Listen. There's like 3 people that'll get all of these references that I've made. They'll love them.
Oh, okay. That was
They'll love them. Nate Green, he's got the Dead Sea Scrolls. I know he's got that one. Someone
he has them.
No, he doesn't have
They're
them.
in his house.
Yeah, I'd be quite impressed if he had one of those.
Suddenly, I got to make a trip. Like, even I want to see that shit.
No.
All right, Keith, it's your turn on the next one, I think.
Yep.
Sure. Let's get a good one.
Oh, I need.
You can.
I threw this one. I threw this one in here. I'm going to explain it because you guys, no one. I don't think half the people that use this actually know what this is from. But this is from the episode we recorded with Grant, which is Brothers, We Are Not Professionals, which is just a joke. Well, it's not a joke. It's a joke that, we say, obviously, because we're not professionals. But the hilarious part is that line comes from a book written by a pastor named John Piper, which is the picture I post all the time that I photoshopped with Grant and I's name on it. But it's a book about being a pastor, which is just hilarious that it gets used so much. They were like, yeah, brothers. And it was stolen more or less from a meme of like in churches, there's usually like a lot of volunteers that help out with like doing sound or something. And there's a super old meme of like some dude standing behind a soundboard. And it's like someone comes back to complain about the audio, and I just hold up this, and it's just John Piper's book, Brothers, We Are Not Professionals. And it's just I love that joke, and I think it's funny. And I didn't know if Grant would get that reference, and he 100% got the reference. Yep. And
also, the first time that was like brought into our world was on our podcast, and I didn't know if you and him had a dialogue with that before.
No,
that
was just
okay. So
I'm going to drop this.
That's actually really cool.
And see if he catches this, and he did, and it was great.
That's awesome. that actually makes it even all the cooler. I like that.
But now it has come into the world.
It's come into the world. Shout out to John Piper, the little man himself.
I mean, Nate uses it a lot. I use it periodically. I think some crew will use it periodically as well.
It comes up. Well, Grant I'll just post something, or like something will get posted of me, and he'll just respond to only me and be like, not a professional. I'm like, I don't know if that's good or not. I don't know I was like, are you insulting me? I don't know how to feel about this. But yeah, all right.
Good dude.
Yeah, good dude.
Good dude.
Shout out to BW Tax.
Is it my turn?
Good dude, better at taxes.
Yeah. Nate stole Keith's. Wrong again. Yeah, that's actually a good one for me to do because it was my doing.
Wrong again, Joey.
Yeah. So Huck Finn's been going after Joey Swole. For whatever reason Huck Finn has. It's usually boobs. And I really enjoyed. I thought the Wrong Again Joey was funny. So I introduced that to the group. And I was like, we should incorporate this into the podcast somehow. So I sent the clip to Nate and I said, hey, can you make this a GIF so I can post it in the Discord and use it against myself because I thought that was really funny. Big shout out to Huck. I love Tom. He's really fun. And then people started using it against me, Keith, when I wasn't wrong. And that was one of those ones where I was like, okay, now I'm going to go after Keith. So I got Tanner to record a Wrong Again, Keith.
That was the best.
In the same.
Wrong again, Keith.
The way he says it too, it's so animated.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep. I asked him, and then I reminded him like a week later, and he had the video within seconds. It was perfect. And then one thing that hasn't come up in the Discord enough is I got one for the Davids. Yeah. Do you have that?
Nice try, one of the Davids.
I got Tommy to record when one of the Davids try to catch us on shit and they're wrong about it. Nice try, one of the Davids. And that has been an escalation, but they refuse to make that one a bot because they're cowards.
Fuck bots.
No, I hate bots with a passion. Like,
especially when they don't serve your purpose.
Maybe
they don't serve any purpose. They scare dodds away. Like you can't say anything.
He told me that he hates bots so much.
You can't you can't say plates.
He knows how to block them, so
you can't say plates. You can't say 69 if your fucking username has a 69. Bots appear. Like it just becomes so cumbersome to read the Discord because of the bots. I hate the bots. The ones you choose on purpose, like the Wrong Again Joey, the weather, the count, those ones I like. But the ones that are triggered by just a phrase you say, I think they take away from discourse in the Discord, and I hate them for that reason. But yes, the Wrong Again is my fault. I started it against myself, and it escalated all the way to nice try, one of the David. It's still funny. It's actually the shirt. Yeah. I ordered that shirt, the Wrong Again. I have that. It's being delivered, and I tried to get Karen to cut it, but I guess Tom's going to do it.
Nice.
Karen cut shirts are the best.
All right. Onward and forward. We got a lot.
Whose turn is it? Nate, I guess.
What's perfect. Keith explain your head.
Yeah, I mean
Keith's head.
I mean that head. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. It would have been December to Remember 2024, so not the most recent one, 2023. Yeah, so almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, whatever. I had a nice group photo, and nothing like a group photo. If you can't be in it, so obviously I had to do a little hold the camera up as high as I can, catch a little bit of my face in it. Joey's always likes to describe it as it's pointing directly at my nose. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's still pretty good. So.
Maybe a little bit.
That got cropped and, became its own little meme and its own little picture. There's an app for it now to easily add it into memes. I think everyone that wants a copy of it has a copy of it saved and, very much adds it into pictures amusingly over the last 18 months or so. So it's been fun. They've literally put it on a fucking sticker that they send out with the Unpaid and Underrated t-shirt, which blows me. That just makes me laugh the most when I see that. Like Big Katie, I think, just posted her shirt, and Big Philadelphia Kurt posted his, and it's just like, oh, there's my face on right next to it. Like, it just blows me away. Joey literally has it multiple places in his house. He's got a pillow.
What did we do with the Live Hard, Live Easy?
Yeah, Damager bought the basically the face covers of my face.
We bought signs. We bought signs of your head.
When I looked up doing my log clean impression, there's like six of my heads looking back at me. That was a unique experience. People have really embraced it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's dying down or not, but it's still pretty funny. So, definitely more than 10 of my friends have my face in their gym somewhere, which is just weird. That is such a weird
I have
thing.
A pillow with your yeah.
I have one on my espresso machine.
When you said Morgan didn't feel comfortable changing in front of it, so that is one of my favorite parts about it.
Your head is in like 3 places in my office here, which is my bedroom.
That's what she said. So speaking of your wife changing in front of Keith, his head, I have a realization that I've made, and Keith watches me sleep every night.
Yes, yeah, he's in my in my bedroom.
Because I got Harbor Freight. I don't know if they have these up. They have Harbor Freights up in Canada. Probably not. They're like
discount tool store.
Yeah, discount tool store. They make a couple people make them, but they have like these mini toolboxes now. They're awesome. I love them. They're so cool. They're just like real small toolboxes. You can basically fit nothing in it, but it's like great for like EDC stuff, like knives, watches, those kinds of like small little things that you just want to put in like shelves and whatnot, but like have it somewhat organized. And got one of them, and it sits on my dresser. I keep knives and flashlights and stupid nerd EDC stuff in it. But I keep the lid open, and I put stickers across the front, like the top lid, and just like over top of the bed that my wife and I sleep and do other things on Saturdays is just Keith watching everything. And after a while, I brought it up to my wife, and she's like, I don't think about it. It's just a sticker. And I was like, I feel weird about it, but okay. Like, just...
now I don't think I can ever come to your house, because if your wife meets me, it's going to ruin your Saturdays.
Yeah, no, we'll be fine.
She's going to be like, no, now I have a face to put with that face, and I can't. That's not appropriate.
Hey,
now.
baby.
Yeah.
Let's turn the Keith head around tonight.
Yeah.
there should be like an add-on sticker that you can buy that's like a little magnet sticker that's like a blindfold for me, so when people do have to make love with my head in the room, that you can cover up my eyes.
I think yeah, you had posted the original photo, and I was like, why am I looking up Keith's nose right now? Like, you didn't need to be in this picture, and you were like, fuck you, I wanted to be in this picture. And then it was somebody else posted a photo, and then one of the Davids added your head. That is exactly what happened.
Nice. Good David.
And that was what started this entire thing of adding your head to every crew picture ever.
There's a lot.
And then, hold on, there's one last thing. When I surprised you in your gym.
Yes, that. Yeah, the pellet.
We were all outside. We were having some Keiths. We were lifting some logs. My kids were going insane. Your wife took a picture of the style of your head at the bottom of the picture. Steph.
Oh, yeah.
She sent me that, and I was like, that is so genuinely funny. Yeah, she got it, and she, that's one more layer, and then that just went insane after that. Stickers, photos, signs, pillows.
Yeah, quick shout out on that note. I just added it to the template for, not like just added it, but it's been added for a while. There is a page on our website now if you need a copy of a Keith Head PNG. Also, the shortcut is linked there that Keith was talking about that you can run to add Keith's face to any photo. All that can be found in the show notes of like almost every podcast we post now. So if you need it, it's in the show notes. I think it's like, it might just be like unpaidinternpodcast.com/ it might be blog/Keith Head. So yeah, go get your Keith Head.
It's got to be confusing for like that one. Probably has to be the most confusing for new people.
Yeah,
when they like who is this fucking guy? Because like they're not, if you're like brand new to crew, you've never listened to our podcast, you probably don't follow many crew, so it's just like, how did this asshole get a head on a sticker?
Why is his head everywhere?
Like, is this paying homage to a dead guy or something? Like, I don't get it. Like,
is that guy still alive?
I'm here.
And now that's why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Explain it like
I think is it Nate or Joe? Or no? Yeah.
It's your turn.
I believe it's me.
I just went.
He literally just went.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
No.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah. This is the one where British David pooped on a mountain. The story is that's what he did. I don't know. Like,
but he also got caught.
Yeah, he did.
It's much more elaborate than that. Yeah.
But I also don't recall the details of that story.
Okay.
So
one of the Davids.
Yeah,
so British David was on a hike with his wife or girlfriend at the time, whichever, and he really had to go to the bathroom. And we're like talking high up on a very elevated mountain with like, and we're not like, he's not like hiking on the mountain. There is a trail on the side of a mountain that is like a couple people wide, maybe 2 or 3 people wide, and like so, and he had to fucking drop a deuce. So he's doing his, and there was, I think the way he described it, like there wasn't like some bushes he could go walk off to. There was like a mountain and then like a ledge and like nothing in between. So he's doing his business right in the middle of the trail because it's the only place he can. And then like a family of tourists come walking by, and like he can't just stop. And they just had I think they just watched him shit as they walked by him.
I want to say it was like Girl Scouts or something. Like it
Was
was
it younger?
like ridiculous.
I think that was a different. There might have been a difference. I think there was. I think one of the no, that was the girl that's not crew anymore. The runner chick. She's the one that shit in front of some like Boy Scouts or something. I think in the woods maybe. But David, I think definitely that was a great story. So there were many memes of him squatting and shitting on the side of a mountain of some capacity. So which David that is, you'll have to figure that out for yourself because there's
one
so
of the
many
Davids.
of them. But yeah, British David, good guy. He definitely will make you pay for your drink really, really fast and get the fuck out of B-dubs. But it's it is. He's got to go shit on the mountain.
That's episode 28. If you're looking to go back and listen to that, episode
that was
28.
I think we were starting to figure it out by then. I always
Unpaid.
When I tell people like what episodes to listen to or something, I was like, maybe not the first couple, but we definitely figured it out after a while. But
yeah, I mean, and if you've the episode's not that long, so it's only 3 hours and 17 seconds. So as long as you have,
I think that's our longest episode of all time. I think he is the only. I think I looked at it in the last couple months. It is the only 3-hour episode.
That's not true.
I'll look it up on mine.
Yeah, figure it out while we find the next topic. But I'm pretty sure there's a couple 3 hours, but you might be right.
There's a bunch of like 255s, but there's
because I guess it was 3 hours and 17 seconds, so it barely broke the.
No, when I say I literally, it's the only one that I've typed the numbers 3. Yeah, it is the only one that has.
Well,
everything else is David Mills 3 hours.
What a guy!
Everybody else, but I'm glad we got away from that. Like the hour 45 to 2:15 is where we need to be.
And I think he has a gym tour coming up.
Yeah, there should be several that'll be good.
Is,
both of them, both. No, Brit. I don't think they saw British David.
Listen, that state is gigantic. So
I literally, is this not on here? Is New York big not on here? So okay, I'm gonna explain New York being big. Well, no, I'm not gonna explain it. I'm gonna segue into a funny story.
We're gonna add it.
Okay, well then I'll tell my little tidbit. Yeah, that's good.
Who's next?
You were.
Yeah, go ahead, Joey.
Because Nate took a shot inside of the mountain on that one, so it's Joey's turn.
Rules. Chicken parm.
It's a good one.
Yeah, so Keith loves a good chicken parm. It's his favorite pre-meat meal. So at the first Lift Hard Live Easy, he went to this place which is under a hotel by the Target in Aberdeen, and went on for days, weeks about how this was the best chicken parm he's ever had in his life. And that got us like a little concerned about how much you cared about chicken parm. And then the next year you went back and it was the worst experience of your life. And you brought all of these people to have the best chicken parm of their lives.
Well, they didn't have chicken parm. They just had regular Italian food.
Yeah,
but it was
you were
subpar.
Like, this is the greatest restaurant. This is amazing. Nothing will ever beat this. And it was a terrible experience for everybody. So now the running joke is you and your chicken parms, to the point where at Crew Falls, you had no choice but to order the chicken parm at that terrible brewery.
It was a terrible sandwich too.
Yeah, and I knew it was gonna be.
I've been kind of to steal this. Like, you fuckers have almost ruined chicken parm for me. Like, I did my strongman show. I didn't even go get chicken parm.
Oh no!
Because fuck you guys. Like,
Shaboot.
Oh dang it! I missed it.
Yeah, you did.
I thought about it. But I'll get back into it again someday. But
yes, ever since then, Keith loves chicken parm, and it's the only thing he's ever allowed to eat as far as Crew is concerned.
Mm-hmm. I swear to God, Tanner asked me to like everyone thought they were original and were the first person to say, Keith, do you see they got a chicken parm sandwich? Like no less than 10 people in a 20-minute span came up to me and said this, thinking they were the first person, to date to ever say this joke. And I was like, you fucker.
It's a pretty active Discord, so
yeah.
We often repeat ourselves.
That is the worst too. Repeating yourself in Discord, like especially when it's like a really good one and you realize someone else posted something very similar like 30 seconds ago.
It is
Try to do
soul
the
crushing, honestly.
It's Nate's turn, is it?
No,
Yeah, that
Keith.
works. You didn't go.
I did.
You didn't explain David shitting at all. I had to save you.
What do I? Oh, he opened his anus and poop came out of it. What do you want me to explain? Jeez.
So this one is big math, and this one's actually my fault. This actually stems from a joke on Super Trooper, which is my favorite joke of any movie ever made. It's when Foster, which is one of the Super Troopers, isn't wearing any shoes because he's fishing. And somebody goes, "Are you not wearing any shoes?" And he says, "What are you, the shoe police now?" And it's the funniest thing because they are actually police. It's for me, it's my favorite throwaway joke that has never been brought back. So then one day, somebody asked me to do some math in the Discord. And I was like, what are you, big math now? Like you're going to make me do math? And it somehow turned into blaming Matt for us doing math. I'm not sure how that escalated.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, and now I'm not sure where that escalated to, but big math is an ongoing joke about how we just don't do numbers. We don't do math. We don't do sets and reps. We don't do any of that shit.
Or if we get math wrong.
Yeah, we're not big math here.
Yeah, large language models aren't good at math either. So,
what's that mean?
All right, on to the next topic.
Well, and the good thing about this is, if we get any of these wrong, the Davids will be there to tell us and tell the Discord if this is really what the origin of this is.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do this pure justice, but I will explain one of the greatest humans and historical features that. Huh? Go ahead.
Oh no, because Tanner didn't make Brad made his own stickers. I thought Tanner had. I think. Okay, never mind.
No, so
a lot of us had the sticker. Yep.
Brad the Pad, a hero in society, a champion among men. I mean, what more could we say? A great human to exist. But I mean, I wasn't there. All I saw was the great tales of history and of battle of Brad the Pad. But there was a shield carry event in the Lift Hard, Live Easy Strongman Classic Numero Uno, in which there was it was the first Strongman Classic, so I don't know how we number that. Joey tried to correct me.
We're not big math. We're not big math.
Wrong again, Joey.
The first Strongman Classic, and they needed someone to carry a pad. A crash pad and put it under the shield so it wouldn't crash into the floor of the Odie Hot Arena. And Brad submitted himself to what I had heard was the hardest thing that he ever had to do in his life. And so he took his little pad out there onto the strongman floor and caught all of South Dakota many, many times for many, many people. And he is a great hero for that. He will forever be thanked.
He has become the sign of safety for all of us.
Yeah, the second sign, in all honesty.
Yes, the drink spotter is obviously first.
Yeah, the patron saint.
And now he has stickers, and several of us have that image saved as a ready to be inserted into memes.
I just wish there was a higher resolution photo of that. Like, I want it so bad, and it is just the lowest garbage photo that I just want it to be so detailed
if you were actually real, you could have actually been at the Lift Hard Live Easy and taken the fucking picture yourself. But since you're not real, you can't actually go to places. I mean, I guess you could remote in, but you're really not there. And I don't know.
What is being anywhere really when you think about it, Keith?
I don't know, man.
We are not professionals.
Yeah, we're not professionals.
All right, Keith, you're up.
Heard.
There's a few that need to be removed here.
Yeah, I realize I've missed a couple.
So, roll Tide. This goes back
to the greatest OG moments of Unpaid and Underrated.
So this was back on a big Spooners episode. God, it had to be in the first 15 or 10. Like this is circa summer of 2023 probably. I don't even. I mean, I remember the end of the punchline, but the setup, I don't. I'm trying to remember specifically. So we definitely were just talking, and somehow NASCAR came up. Or no, you. No, okay. What it was, I think. No, I remember now. Spooner was either affiliated with Alabama or something, or didn't. Maybe he was a fan of a different team. But anyway, so the Alabama football team is the Crimson Tide, and people say Roll Tide when they talk about Alabama. So that came up in conversation at some point. Spoon or myself said Roll Tide, and Joey literally asked, "Is that about NASCAR?" Or the NASCAR? It was in my. I'm right, right. I'm somewhat. Anyone jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. This was literally
Joey
2 years ago.
It had to do
Hold on.
when- Go ahead.
Yeah, I made the joke. I didn't think it was about NASCAR, but I was like, "Are you sure it's not about the NASCAR sidecar, like going real fast?" Like I did that on purpose.
Man, you said it.
No,
You did.
I didn't know what Roll Tide meant.
Oh,
but I
okay,
knew
okay.
it didn't have anything to do with NASCAR. Like let's not pretend I knew what I was doing.
Revisionist history over here.
Yeah, I definitely was just like, oh, I thought this would be funny, but definitely is definitely was a stupid moment, and it lives on.
It does. It even like I think it died for a minute, and then it was definitely resonated in some context in the last like 3-4 weeks. Like there was definitely like it was brought back up, and I think we even like found the original meme from like the thumbnail. I believe
It wasn't the thumbnail. Jeff made a.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because we didn't start thumbnails until like episode 50 or 60 probably. Maybe 40.
Well, we've had thumbnails always, but we didn't do
You're
social
right. Yeah.
images.
Yes.
Um,
Because I used to just like screenshot.
she screenshotted the website, and I was
Yes.
like, I hate that Keith does this. I
Well, you
guess
should have given
have
me
to make
access to the other stuff.
social something. Because I was like, what is he getting that from? And I was like, oh, he's just screenshotting the website. We can't do this.
Well, I didn't have the. I think that was prior to me having the access to the files.
Yeah, you have because you do not ask. That was episode number 4, which is crazy.
Oh, okay. Wow. What's the date on that? Okay, so that would have been. I want to guess. That would have been June, like middle of June.
June 6th.
Okay, a little off. 2023. Damn.
It's a long time ago.
So that's like 19 months ago, 20 months ago. It's wild.
All right, my turn. Is it my turn?
Just
yeah,
fair.
sure. There are no rules.
I think whoever it resonates with should honestly be who explains it.
Oh, the platypus one. That one keeps coming up.
It was
Incredible.
It really is.
Same episode, ironically enough.
Yep.
Was that episode? I guess it
It
was.
was Ryan's episode.
No, because I think Spooner actually got on and said like 2 of the more emphasis things were from his episode, and I'm 99% sure it was. It was the same episode.
So we used to do this like silly question thing where I would be like, "Oh, Joey's silly question of the week," and I said, "Hey, why do platypus need to glow in the dark under blacklight?" And I think the reaction from our guest was, "What? Why?" And the reaction from Keith was, "What the fuck is a platypus?"
Is that a dinosaur?
Yeah. And then for like it completely derailed the conversation
We still
to
talk
find
about
out that Keith does not know what a platypus is.
Never heard of it in my life.
Yeah, no, and that's fair because let's fast forward now. We still don't know what a platypus is because we're still finding
why it
out
glows in the
crazy
dark.
shit about them. Why they glow in the dark, why they're venomous for whatever reason.
I do remember the venomous question.
Yeah. But that one has been ongoing is Keith doesn't know what a platypus is.
That is some good meme.
Yeah, that one definitely is interesting.
I like
And-
it. I'm always a fan when we actually get the meme content. Like we know. I mean, 99% of the time it's fine getting made fun of. Every now and then it hurts. It's just people take it a little too obnoxious. But 99% of the time it's awesome and we love it. And I love because then it creates content for us. So like.
Mhm.
I know that makes it easier because if I don't have to make our own content and I can just throw somebody else's meme up on Instagram like I did today, so much easier.
But also, what the hell's a platypus? And we were both
I
like,
don't know.
what?
And I think
how do you
I think that was back when like Tanner actually made memes about us and stuff too, and like that was we were so new that like everyone was like a little more like, oh, this is actually I'm going to tune into this, and we had a lot of interaction in the first few episodes. I feel, but we still have our loyal fans now. Just people. I don't know. I think people just don't. We don't get as many memes made as late.
Do funnier stuff, Keith.
Be dumber.
Yeah, be dumber. Know less things.
Nate, you're up.
Start knowing less. All right.
I think that's okay. Ryan, okay.
Yeah, shout out to our boy. I think he's on the Zoom call right now. Topic is Ryan is hurt. And the fact of the matter is Ryan's hurt.
Yeah.
And he gets hurt a lot, and he got hurt so much that he started to shake people's hands and hurt them and get them hurt. And his hurt people something situation. And he was passing along injuries to other people. It was a disaster. But I think he's better now. I think that he's not hurting people anymore, which is good. I'm proud of him for making that progress. He's really making it out there. So keep it up, Ryan. Don't get hurt. He's got a new home gym and a new home, so maybe that'll help now that there's not stuff.
He's been moving for 8 months. This is the longest social media move I've ever experienced in my life.
What?
Like every other story or post, it's like he's still moving and packing. I'm like, oh my God.
Moving is a lot. Keith, act like you would do it in a day with your home gym.
I've moved like 3 times in my life, so I don't have as much experience to pull from. But yeah.
Yeah.
It would be brutal.
Yeah, speaking of being hurt, Ryan, and moving, I destroyed my back helping Kayleen's cousin move the other weekend. That was fun. But I was also like they're like, hey, can you come help us lift stuff? And I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
and I
can do that.
Yeah, I was carrying.
I would give you $100 to pay someone else to do it.
We were pulling a dresser up a flight of stairs, and I like went down with it weird and was like, oh no, that's that thing that I always do to my back. I was like, I can't show any weakness to these people. They think I'm the strong person. And I was like, I think we need to take it back down the stairs and readdress this. Like, yeah. And then they're like, I'm like standing down at the bottom of the stairs and like, oh, do you want me to go up to the top? I was like, yeah, why don't you just take that? You take that up to the top. I'll make sure I'll look from the bottom and figure out where it ends up. I was like, got it.
I'm backwards just listening to that.
Dude, I couldn't move for 2 days.
Yeah, my back's pretty tweaked right now.
Felt like Orion. But
everybody said
now you don't have to work out. Yep.
I don't think anyone said that day. I was really proud of everyone.
Did they at least buy you pizza? You know, that comes with it.
There was some pizza involved, but I was
without pizza.
It was one of the longest moves of my life.
That sounds horrible. I'm so glad. Like, I mean, I have a lot of friends, but I haven't had a friend that's like moved and asked me to help in so long.
Well,
like it's probably been like 15 years. It's been so nice.
I realize they're substantially younger than me as well. I feel like I keep thinking I'm young, but I'm only getting older. So
you're substantially younger than us.
That's not true. I mean, yeah, you guys are old as dirt.
And oh my God, I was last week's episode our youngest guest? Anthony?
I think so. Yeah,
he had to be
at like 12 or whatever. However old he is.
Yeah, he's 12. For sure, 12.
Whose turn is it? It's Keith, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
This is what?
When will we get to Tom?
Oh, yeah. Nate's good buddy Tom. He is on the backlog. It's just a matter of one of these days. So this is Nate's good buddy that actually introduced you to crew, or you both. I don't know. You just explain it because you're going to do a better job.
Well, here's the thing. We'll get to it when we get to it. All right, next topic.
Yeah, we'll get to Tom in a minute.
Listen, we'll come back. We'll circle back when we have a second, and we'll explain Tom.
That tracks.
All right, Sisters Host, Sister Podcast.
You may go.
I think it's my turn. I don't really understand this one.
This is Keith.
Keith started this, and
no, Tanner started it, I believe, and then we've given him. So the very first so Tanner had the unique challenge to explain our podcast on his podcast when he was trying to like help us grow and get crew to come listen to us. So for many weeks he would describe it as the in a non-negative way as we were just the sister podcast, and then I kind of would jab back of how they're our sister podcast, and then he would escalate it to where we're the little sister podcast, and and how they're the big podcast and we're the little one, just kind of busting our balls. So kind of escalated a little bit back and forth, and it's just kind of funny. And they are the sister host, and any chance we can give to kind of jab that at them, but I don't know. I think that's almost died. Like I still use it every now and then, but I still see it in Discord a fair amount too. Like when other crew refer to Tanner and Tommy, or when they come on our podcast and refer to Tanner and Tommy as the sister host, it makes me chuckle because that just means they've been around long enough to get that, because that was like episode 1 through 5 when that was like a weekly kind of thing that Tanner would say as he kind of like gave us credit and on their podcast for the first few weeks.
Well, there's also a second layer to that where you guys attempted to be very adamant that you would never refer to Tanner and Tommy by their actual names.
That was a Joey thing, and that was so hard for me. I struggled. I tried.
That was really funny. Is we would just call them one of the hosts because we were one of the crew, right? Like,
yeah, that was so hard to not.
There was no individual credit for the longest time, and I was like, well, we need to do that back to them, but it didn't work out.
It's very difficult.
We made it. I mean, if you go to like the first 10 episodes, like we probably only said their names like once an episode, and it was a mistake. And then after that, we kind of were just like, it was so hard to consciously have that in your head while trying to have a casual, like ongoing conversation. Yep. But it was funny, but it was hard. It was a big challenge off the bat.
Yeah. And then shout out to our cousin podcast, the OK Podcast.
Okay.
Grant literally was supposed to deploy like a year ago, and they've got like 7 new episodes since I know he's
on workup right now.
I know, but he's like, I'm assuming once he actually gets on the boat, like they're not going to record.
But yeah, I don't think they've got Wi-Fi out there in the middle of the sea.
But I have been enjoying his. It's always a pleasant surprise when I still get a Friday episode from them, because I have been listening to every episode since we had them on. I think maybe even I might have even done like a couple episode research prior to. I tried to do their backlog. I just could. It was so far ago that nothing was relevant at that point too. So I don't know, but I will definitely keep consuming OK podcasts as the new ones come out.
Their topics are very.
They're
very like that week, and they're not like evergreen topics a lot of the time. So it's like if it's like 3 months ago, you're like, yeah, that did happen. But it's so funny because. We don't need to talk about podcast meme joke, inside joke of the week. Joey is going to explain this because he is the most urban of any of us. Why are we an urban podcast?
Somebody posted that they were listening to us and it wasn't updating on their Apple Podcasts, and they took a picture of their dashboard. I want to say it was I'm. God, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I want to say it was Bowen. It was one of the newer people.
Yeah, probably.
And it was like, oh, look, your thumbnail's not updating. And somebody was like, why is it called an urban podcast? And for some reason, whatever platform they're using described us as an urban podcast. And I don't understand that. I don't get the phrasing. I know what urban means. So I've been referring to us as the number 1 rated urban podcast since.
So it was Big Alex West.
Thank you.
In the Discord. Shout out to Alex. And I'm looking at this picture, and what happens is like older car infotainment systems think everything that doesn't have album artwork needs album artwork. And I had an old Buick not Encore. What was it? A Rendezvous, Rendezvous.
Rendezvous.
And yeah. And it would do this all the time, where it would just like put random artwork that didn't make any sense with something I was listening to. The fact that it picked urban artwork for listening to a podcast is just the most ludicrous thing. But it
labeled us in that photo as an urban podcast.
Well, the photo, like
I thought it was urban music, but maybe I missed. Maybe I looked at it wrong. Either way, urban. You say an urban podcast for the past 3 months. It makes me laugh every time.
It basically is like it. That's more or less what it did.
It makes me so happy.
But yeah,
It's one of those ones
What a
that kicked up
classic.
legs too. I feel like it's like we're not just the only ones saying it.
Yeah. Hey, that's what happens when you're the number one urban podcast. You can't
Yeah.
deny it. Big news out here in the streets.
Big math.
Joey, you got this one?
Toby's blue eyes. Toby has some really blue eyes.
All right, cool.
Yep.
I don't know if Joey or Keith should explain this one.
I think Keith should explain this one.
It was.
Still is.
As the years have gone by, it's we equally don't know a lot of shit. But for the first several episodes,
A great description.
and
We're not the number one urban podcast. We're the number one podcast about. We really don't know a lot about anything.
Like in the fitness world, like if you're just a lifter, if you're a submasters lifter that's been on Instagram for a decade, you have an 80% chance you know these 100 people. Like there's, that's like just a fact. Joey knows 6 of them.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because in just a conversation we'll be having with these new crew that we're interviewing, and it just kind of throughout the conversation, Joey just literally will, say who, like he doesn't know who we're talking about. And then we kind of have to explain that to him. Same thing on Discord a lot of the times. And at this point now, I mean, sometimes we all play into a little bit of a bit, but it's, I think it's all most of it's been sussed out now. I think of who he doesn't know, but we don't really talk about a whole lot of other people anymore. This is mainly the crew podcast. But there was a while where, like, just casual conversation, like he didn't know who. Like, you literally didn't know who Mark Bell was. I think at one point, I believe, or maybe even if you did, like someone like that, to where if you're a lifter for the last 10 years, like these people. Like I said, he knew 10% or less of them. I feel just because he doesn't follow a lot of just randomness and didn't listen to any podcasts prior to Massonomics, which,
Nope.
So a lot of that, it was just funny.
To this day, I still don't follow influencers. I don't like their shit. I people that want to like walk through grocery stores and yell at me about, ingredients. I don't have patience for that. I still don't know who most of these people are. I will still say publicly, fuck free shred. But that's about where that ends. And I don't know who these people are. And that's because I was self-taught. Like the only person to ever show me how to lift anything was Steve Huck, like Big Steve here from Moving Mountains. Good dude. And I didn't follow these programs. I didn't follow these influencers. I didn't anything. I just started moving heavy weights. So whenever you guys were like, oh, this guy, and I was like, nope, don't know who it is. Still don't know who it is. If they've been on the podcast, I might know who they are. Like if they've been on Massonomics, but even then, like I still unfollow most of them because their shit is cringy and boring. It's except for Dan Bell. Love Dan Bell.
That's all fair. Like I thought I'd always keep following every person they've interviewed, but yeah, there's a lot of people I don't follow they've interviewed. I was just like, they're not my cup of tea. But I do enjoy the new format where it's really like the guests they get on, like 80% of the fans or crew will enjoy the it's
they're a little more selective on who they get on now.
Absolutely.
Hey, who's next? Nate.
Yeah. I got a good list of topics.
We only got 3 left.
3 left. Only 3 spots left. Oh yes. Speaking of not knowing, some people know people on Instagram, some people don't. Some people know the size of the states in the US and their population and things like that. We're really, second to being a hockey podcast, we're also a geography podcast. And one of the hotly debated topics in history, in geography right now, is, how big of a state really is New York. And our podcast is really, went to battle with that question. Is it big? Is it not big? We don't know. Specifically, Keith doesn't know, or maybe he does know. He believes he knows. But yeah, Keith know. Just.
Fuck you, I know.
Keith, I forget what he was comparing New York.
I don't remember how it started either.
Solely because my job takes me all over the entire state, and there's days I could drive. My job could be 8 hours away, and I'm still inside the state. And then a big mofo just likes to tell me how small of a drive that is, and how small of a state that is, and blah 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 blah. I understand that it's not the largest geographical state, but it's not in the bottom fucking 40% either.
It's not Rhode Island.
Yeah. And I think the thing that made me the happiest was when recently Kevin shared the picture of New York inside of South Dakota, and it was literally as wide. It just didn't have like a top like left third, essentially, like a 45-degree angle. But it was so I felt justified, and I still feel justified. But no one else wants to acknowledge that New York State is.
It didn't even touch Ontario. You can drive for 24 hours and still be in Ontario.
It's fine.
tiny
that
state.
Was great too. Yeah, the relevance of it today was one of my customers. She knew that we were I was working like almost all the way down in Pennsylvania, like way south of Buffalo on 90 there, and she knew we were coming from Rochester, so it was like a 2.5 hour drive to get there, and she was like, "Are you familiar with this area? That's where my son lives." And I couldn't tell you where she said it was. I've never heard of it, and I was like, no, I'm not sure. How far away is that? And she's like, "Oh, it's about 5 hours away." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm not familiar with that, but I'm sure it's." She's like, "Yeah, it's still in New York." So I chuckled when she was asking me about something 5 hours away, and I'd never heard of it inside of my own state. So I did get a kick out of that. I think I know what sorry, let me rephrase that. My response to her was, "Yeah, New York's pretty big." That was the fucking punchline. I was trying to say that earlier in the beginning, and I buried it, and I've just remembered it after I poorly explained that.
All right, we'll get the Davids on for that one. But if you want to ever compare the size of states, thetruesize.com, that will not get hit by your porn blockers or anything. It is a geography. I don't know. It sounds perverse. The true size of thetruesize.com. You can compare states, countries, you name it, and just drag things on top of each other. It's cool because it's like something like Greenland or one of those places is like way smaller, but because of the way globes and maps work, it looks way bigger than it actually is. And when you drag it on other stuff, it's like, what the heck is happening? So it's a fun little thing. As a geography podcast, we have a lot of fun with it in our off time. But yeah, shout out to New York. You're doing your best.
Two left. Keith, you're up.
Yep.
Heard.
Oh, one of these is a legendary.
Is it this one?
I'll do the other one.
I mean,
I want the other one. So Joey can finish this one, or you can do it.
Yeah, Joey, this is also the most close to home thing in the world.
Yes, sand versus pea gravel. When I bought my first sandbag, I bought it from a local Canadian
your first
company.
what?
Sandbag.
Yeah.
One of her recommendations was to use pea gravel if you're using it inside your house. It causes less dust, has less mold. If you wash it and dry it properly, it's just a little easier to use inside a house. And apparently that was just pure dichotomous between all of everybody, and everybody's mad about it, and they mock me for it. Later to learn that it is an actual thing is the way that the pea gravel settles versus the sand is it does make it actually a different kind of lift. But yes, all of my sandbags are currently filled with pea gravel at the moment.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
You get a lot of shit for that, which is just funny. People rag on anything, so.
I mean, weight is weight, right?
God, I hate that fucking term so much.
Yeah, I know. I think that the one time one of the new crew came in and they said like, "Oh, I'm filling my keg for my wife or something like that," and Tanner goes, "Are you going to use pea gravel or sand?" And the guy was like, "Actually, I should have used pea gravel. That would have made the weight distribution a little easier for her." Yeah, I know. And then I was just like, ha ha. Like, there is a reason to use it a little better, but Yeah, the next one I fill might be sand just to make sure I have both. But yeah, I do get a lot of shit for that one, and I deserve it. But again, I have less dust, less bullshit. It's easier to transfer. I don't have any no regrets.
No regrets.
I feel like we got to get Nate on more so people have more ammo against him. Because, like, you and I don't need to always be the fucking whipping post over here. We need other people to get shit more often. So
Last one, Keith, it's you.
Wrong again. Keith.
Nice. Do I have to? Yeah, I'm not gonna wait for the spinning wheel because we know
No, you gotta
what it
wait.
is.
We don't know. Something else might pop up.
Yeah, you're gonna pull something else out of your ass. Okay. Big Mofo's feet.
It's a good one to end on because this is
and I'm
like
glad I got it. This is our oldest. This is literally the oldest crew / anything related with us because this was like March, April of 23, when we, first tried to get some air under these wings and actually get this podcast off the ground. We had 2 or 3 times where we did back when we actually used the fucking the crew lounge on Discord, which probably hasn't been used in 2 years, and like that's how we listen to the podcast. And then we would amongst ourselves would just get on there and shoot the shit periodically, and that's when we the first planning stages of the podcast might have began, and then we got organized enough, and I think we did 2 or 3 separate Zoom calls with a variety of different crews. Some very active still, some not even around probably too much in the day-to-day Discord, but our good friend, big mofo, big moto guy, big Mr. California's the biggest state, New York's tiny, big mofo. He had the bad timing to have his video on while he had his toe spacers in, and he was.
But it wasn't on. It just wasn't on. He had like joined the meeting and his video wasn't on, and then he just all of a sudden decided to turn it on.
Okay.
And
while like sitting in his gym on like either the bench or like a box jump or something, like leg crossed, toe spacers in toes, like just digging into his nails or messing with his feet or doing something. So like I have a screen grab from then that I've still like used the picture of to in memes, and it's just the most blurry picture, and it's just him just full on dealing with his toes. And I think we talked about we probably had to bust his balls for like 5 minutes while it was happening.
Well, it was like, did you turn your camera on to just show us your feet?
I said that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's right.
We didn't know who Aaron was. We'd never met him. We'd never seen his face.
Oh yeah, he was a completely anonymous person.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
And then
out of nowhere, that was in the beginning, not knowing people.
He had his camera on. And he was just like playing with his feet. And I was like, dude, did you just turn your camera on to show us your feet? Like, what the fuck is that? And then he was like, oh no, they can see me. Like it was a moment of panic.
Oh, that's even better. I didn't realize he didn't do it on purpose. That's good. So yeah, and then it segued into Mofo Loves Feet. And it's just, and ironically, I know he does not he's like disgusted by feet. So that's just more funny. So even though Tanner liked to coin him Moto Guy, he's still the foot guy to most of us. And anytime, so if you're new to Discord, you're listening to this and you see someone that says the Mofo Guy parentheses Moto Guy comment something, your initial reaction needs to be up. The either the single foot or the 2 foot reaction to any comment he ever makes, no matter what it is. If it's something awesome or sad, you just have to you react with the foot. That's just how we have to do it from now on. But still good, dude. And that is the majority of what we got, I think.
That's it.
I mean, it's not the majority.
Well, if there's anything that you haven't thought of yet, I guess.
I put the ones I had in my brain in there.
Good
so
I enjoyed that.
We
could have a whole separate podcast explaining Tanner and Tommy's shit, but it's just like if you listen to their podcast enough, you'll pick up on it. Like when you listen to your first episode, you didn't get any of the jokes. 6 months later, you probably got most of them at that point, or at least the ones that are relevant.
Of the backlog.
Yeah.
When Joey first proposed this idea that he wanted to do this, I said there is a podcast in which we explain these jokes, and it's called All of Them. Make them listen.
Yes.
But, Joey is not a big backlog guy. I wanted to give people the easy way out. So
I want new crew to come in and join us in our stupidity. I don't like that should not be a problem.
I can't wait for the new crew though to come in on the YouTube video when they find this. Like, this is the episode that explains everything, and then they can complain. Why did the host talk for 40 minutes about nothing relevant before they got to the actual explanations?
I love when he still gets those comments. Like, he literally got one the other day that he shared, and then like the guy backed down, and they just like he's like, well, I really like this other thing you did. You guys are awesome. And it's like, well, why do you got to be a prick and then like suck his dick? It's like just don't be an asshole to begin with. Like, don't like try to be friends with him after you were a prick about it.
Hey.
And just there's no reason to be mean in the comments and then like pretend like you're not mean in the next comment.
Well, they don't expect to get called out.
Yeah,
the internet's a crazy place. The real question.
That's where you live. You fucking live inside the internet, don't you?
That's not how
you are AI.
That's not how the internet works.
You guys, lawnmower man.
The question I want to know is, speaking of AI, does Tanner go through and like every single thing that the Massonomics account likes, or is there a bot? Because it is impressive the amount of likes that man gives out on comments on things and on YouTube videos. Because I'd always been impressed that if you look at a Massonomics YouTube video, every single comment is liked by Tanner on the YouTube channel. I was like, yeah, we'll do that for Unpaid and Underrated too. We should keep that momentum going. I did it once. Like,
it's literally impossible.
I don't know how he does it. I'd love a time tracker on just how much Tanner spends just liking things. I'm pretty sure Instagram makes it easy where if you get the notification, you can just hit the heart from there and like you don't have to open it. But just
it's all in the notifications.
Just like he's a champ. He's a champ.
All right, Keith, hit us with our affiliates.
Yeah, so we got Obsidian, Barbell Rescue, Plate Snacks, Home Gym Con, Belt Fed Strength, Freedom Fitness Equipment, and apparel from the Strength Co. Go ahead and use code UNPAID at all our friends' companies there, and it might save you a couple bucks, and maybe get Nate one foot in that speedboat he's waiting for.
Listen, the speedboat I want is you speedily driving to Best Buy to buy a new computer.
My wife keeps so I might need you to actually. My wife, I have, my birthday's coming up this summer, and my wife always kind of splurges on me. She was like, "All right, have you picked a computer out yet? Have you picked a computer out yet?" And I'm just like, "Well, no, I just updated. It's good now, but I really do need it."
It's not.
So,
it's not.
The best is
you'll laugh at this. My computer does not have an SSD. It is still a hard drive.
Oh my gosh, Keith, dude! When you get an SSD, oh my gosh.
No, I'm anxiously.
You have it, dude.
Well, it's because this is my torrenting computer. So when I take it out of town, I need to I accumulate. I own like 90% of the movies I've glazed. Well, not 90. I own 60% of the movies I've glazed. I have like a 3,000 movie like collection on a hard drive. So I have to be able to download a shit ton of those while I'm out of town, and then have all the space. So,
you don't need a solid like a.
Well, yeah, but
disc
trying to find an SSD with a terabit of fucking storage is like a $1,500 desktop or laptop. I'm trying to keep it to like a $400 to $800 computer.
Make that external. That doesn't need to exist on.
Probably.
Yeah.
I still have to download it somewhere. If I'm downloading it, basically I need to download it and then copy it right to the external when I'm doing that. So,
crew, here's the challenge.
Find me a laptop, preferably at Costco, because they have great 2-year warranties, and I drop computers off hotel beds often.
What? And you have a spinning disc in there. You know what happens when you drop hard drives? They break. They break because they're not solid state.
Ironically, so this is like my 5th computer in probably like 10 years, and this one is the only one that's like lasted this is like a 3-year-old computer. Like I've exhausted my warranty. I'm kind of frustrated because the previous computers I got like a year out of before they broke, and the one I got from Costco 2.5-3 years ago, it's still running like a champ. It's just
you bought
slow as shit.
A spinning disc hard drive computer 3 years ago?
Yeah, but it was.
Keith, what are we doing?
Because it had the 1 terabit hard drive, and it was on sale for like $400 on Black Friday or something. So, like, it was a steal, and it has done great for me.
I was under the impression this was like a 10-year-old computer, and you're just hanging on to it. This computer's only 3 years old, and the homeboy doesn't even have a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi card. What are we doing?
When you see a really good computer for podcasting that's in that like 4 to 8, 4 to 6 ideally, but.
Well, here's the call to the crew. here's the call to the crew. Okay, what we need to do for Keith is we need to. He has a huge movie library that he keeps all locally on his laptop, which is crazy.
Well, no, it's the I have like my movies are like fucking 4,000 or 4 terabit. Like it's my 5 terabit hard drive is like all but full with movies. I just keep this so I can the ones I'm actively downloading because I'm downloading large amounts at a time when I'm out of town.
And also, you can give them
hotel
terrible
Wi-Fi.
reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we can
Well, and
do?
TV shows, not just
what
movies.
we need to do for Keith, the crew, we need to band together. We need to help Keith set up a Plex server where he can put all of his movies into a Plex server where it's all his locally hosted media that he can just access from his Plex account anywhere. He doesn't have to carry an extra hard drive. He can watch them from a computer, from a phone, from an iPad. It would just be Keith's Plex, all of his movies together. He can go in and change the artwork for all of them. He can do all the cool Plex things. And then Keith, he can get a laptop, but he doesn't have to worry about transferring that. Guys, if you love Keith, let's help him. Let's band together. Let's figure out, let's get non-technical Keith. Let's get him up with a Plex server. I know we got people that'll do it, that know how to do it. So this is your call. Keith's birthday's coming up this summer. Let's figure out if we think Keith is safe enough to set this up for him, because I think that would change his literal life. So let's convince him to get a computer with an SSD in it.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah, we could take this offline, but we could change your life, Keith, with a 5 terabyte movie library. There's a system in place that is built for you. So make sure you use those affiliate codes, because we're going to need millions of dollars.
Million.
We're going to build a whole data server, whatever.
Data?
Yeah, we're going to need a closet. That's for sure. All right, where can we find everyone? We'll find Keith, you on Plex, right?
Yep, Plex at Keith Honeycutt 73, and go follow the Plex Orange Gym, the No Wine Cellar.
You can find me in my disaster mocking videos on Instagram at NateE561.
You're gonna get flagged if you keep posting some of those.
I won't get flagged. This is a very common trope. I
don't know. I guess
I will be fine. Everything is fine. Follow me at Glaze Search. Hey, also that other thing that I was working on for strongman shows, I'm like at the tail end. That's basically ready. I just have to set up an LLC for taxes, and I've been procrastinating on that. So once Nathan finally gets his stuff together, we can launch this thing. So if you want it, sound off in my DMs. If you're interested, I need to get some motivation. So if you want
strongman, meet directors listening. So like
if you run a meet,
and it is actually one of the coolest things. I think I was watching some of the Rogue and Giants Live and World's Strongest Man, and I just was like, Nate's program would make this easier to follow.
Yeah,
dude, the show I just did, like they didn't even have like iron, like they entered Iron Podium like the next day. Whereas like the first handful of shows that I did, they were keeping Iron Podium up to date, like after each event. The one I did in Buffalo last week or 2 weeks ago, like the guy didn't post the results till like 3 days later or something. But sorry, interrupt there.
No, you're good. So yeah, sound off if you know someone, if there's some legitimate interest that would. My biggest fear is I've really pushed this over the goal line, and then only Big Jake uses it. While I would love to have built this whole thing for Jake, it is way over engineered for one person to take part in it at this point. So sound off in the comments, trying to get this over the goal line.
Big Dan Eager in Syracuse is hosting his first meet this summer. Reach out to him, Dan.
No, I want them to come to me.
Okay, well, good luck with that. They're Bezos.
They should come to me. Again,
right, find me
lacking motivation.
Joey_Malesko, MLECZKO. And Keith, what's the tagline?
See you next Tuesday, boys.
Shaboom!